I would now like for you to imagine that familiar white staircase that takes us down into that beautiful garden where we connect and journey and experience many things together. And as I count backwards from 10 to 1, I want you to make your way down that staircase and into that beautiful garden, and to find that familiar bench and to sit down on it and to begin that process of connecting in the quantum field to all that you are. 10. Beginning to walk down that staircase now. 9, 8, 7, deeper down that staircase. 6, 5, moving deeper down that staircase. 4, 3, almost at the bottom now. 2 and 1. You are now in that beautiful garden, making your way over to our bench. And as you sit down and look out at this place, you feel that deep sense of connectedness across the quantum field, across all time, all space, all dimension, and reality. And as you look out at the garden today, I want you to tell me, as you look at that familiar patch of red flowers, tell me more about what those red flowers look like today.
They're unlike flowers I've seen before. They're like made of crystals. And when you look at them, they show you something about yourself.
Yes, allow them to show you something today. Connect with them.
They're wanting to show me something different about myself,
Yes,
and I need to break free of my old identity to be able to see myself in another way.
yes. Tell me more about that as you connect with those crystal flowers.
I'm sitting on the bench and nurturing my heart chakra, like if we have a baby in our arms and we give it a bottle to feed on, but it's actually taking care of my own heart chakra.
Yes. Tell me more about that as you connect in a deeper way to that feeling.
This is where we are headed, to a place that is based on the heart, the being from the heart, the new identity.
Yes.
And we are moving away from beings based on the head, the mind. That is why our memory is fading.
Tell me more about that.
Right now at this time, there's a cleansing going on in our minds, in our brains, in that extended storage space that we call memory. It is seen like a big broom or brush, taking away the cobwebs of our minds, old memories, new memories, just clearing, cleansing, taking out the old. Whatever has passed is old.
And this great cleansing that's going on in our minds. Tell me more about how that will help us to connect in a greater way with our hearts.
The old has to collapse, and it appears like an accordion when it is closing, collapsing on itself, because the mind is a trap. If we are based on the mind, that's how the darkness traps us.
Tell me more about that.
If we are based on the mind, we seek approval or we seek rewards from the outside. If we are based from the heart, where we remember we are complete and whole, we do not seek from the outside, and therefore cannot fall into the trap of the darkness, the money, the greed. For from the heart we have everything we need.
And as we transition into this place where we think more with our hearts than our minds, tell me more about the types of changes that we will begin to see.
It is community-based, not self-based. Small groups, small communities of similar interests and collaboration. And many of those small communities in a geographically positioned closeness. Where we lack not and anxiety cannot come in. There are steps leading up to that.
Tell me more about those steps.
It is very much like metamorphosis of a physical being, complete transformation. Cannot predict it because you have never gone under complete metamorphosis yet. We will be more like nomads in the sense that we are no longer needing to stay in one place. We will always be moving, growing. We become free because we lack not and we fear not. Therefore, we are free to move around and share where there is plenty.
Yes. And tell me more about how it is that we get to this place where we have plenty and we share. What steps in this metamorphosis must we go through first?
You must disconnect from the needing to move and be more still from a position of being and less moving, almost like a human who disconnects the lower legs below the knees and the arms at the elbows. If you had no lower legs and no arms beyond the elbows, you wouldn't be able to do very much, if anything at all. You have become so used to doing that you have forgotten about your being.
Yes.
So you must begin to experience the being and not the doing, so that you can go to the land of plenty.
Tell me more about that land of plenty.
The land of plenty is the illuminated plane of existence, your Garden of Eden, if you wish. The land of doing is the dark scarcity 3D, where you live the illusion of fear and scarcity, of the 3D, which is dark and cold and empty. There is the illuminated, warm and plentiful garden where everything is provided. Give me a minute. I will find the way. The spinal cord, the central nervous system needs to connect to 5D, the illuminated garden, the way in, sensory modification, the spinal cord. This is what Julie is seeing as the orbs, sensory modification. She is beginning to see beings in a higher dimension, since she was connected spinal cord to higher self. It is here, but it's vibrating at a higher frequency. And you must undergo sensory modification to be able to begin to see it. This is how it is done.
And tell me more about this sensory modification process that she has been undergoing.
It's like if a very, very strong light is in front of you, in your eyes, it blinds you, doesn't it? You can't see because the light is too strong. The frequency is so high that you can't see it. So we need to plug you into it. Now she will understand what happened Sunday. You can be modified on the ship to begin to be able to see. That is why your clients who were modified also were able to see the orbs where they were enhanced on the ship. This is possible on command. It's inserting an interface like your virtual reality masks. You can begin to see the unseen of higher frequencies. When you are modified in your central nervous system. First, you will be able to see energy where before you were not. And you will be able to tune in to us, hearing us telepathically. Then you may even be able to feel us touching your skin. And 3 years down the road, you may be even able to physically see us. In our light bodies. We are seventh dimensional beings assisting humanity to step higher into fifth dimensional frequencies.
Tell me more about how it is that you're helping humanity at this time.
They don't know where they're going. They are just doing more of the same. And they are trapped in their own paradigms and way of life. They don't know it, but it's almost like they are chained at the ankle. Modern slavery. They're not aware that they are trapped. We must cut those chains and liberate them from their blindness. Assist in coordinating their freedom so that they can escape, and we will lead them to the light. we will guide those that cannot decide for themselves or know for themselves. We must intervene to give them their voice back. We, the purple ones, the violet ones, their guides. We, their guides, must guide them and override their free will. We cannot leave them behind.
Tell me more about what you will do to help them.
It is like this, as if they are all on a train ride. At one point, the railroad rails end. The train is moving. The train is time. And these humans are sitting in the train, moving forward in time. There will come a time where not only do the railroad tracks end, but the earth ends. And if these humans are not taken off the train, they will be lost.
Tell me more about that process of the earth ending.
The timeline of collapse, 2023. They must be removed from that train. The old earth timeline and rescued. The old earth will collapse and disappear and reappear elsewhere in a lower dimension of time and space.
And tell me more about
two-thirds will perish. 1/3 will have the chance to rise, and 1/5 will be in the light.
Tell me more about
Those
that
that are ready,
chance.
please repeat.
Tell me more about that chance that third have of raising higher.
The ascended ones. Inverted realities. it appears like a dimension that is upside down, like if in a room the chairs and tables are on the roof, on the inside ceiling, as if gravity has been inverted. Reality will be inverted. Polar shift of sorts occurs when you go through the portal. Inversion, a shift in polarization will release Earth. Causes the separation of phases.
Tell me more about those portals and how the two vibrations of people on the planet will go through those two different portals, the light portal and the dark portal, the twin portals.
Those that understand freedom or are seekers of freedom, that they know they have a choice and they exercise that choice. We will recognize them because they know they have a choice and a desire of freedom. Those that are not awake, they don't know they have choices, and they are in the trap of fear and scarcity. Those need more time in 3D worlds. So, according to the vibration of the individual, the higher the frequency, the more light they emit. We see them as little fireflies. Those we will assist, where they are choosing, they are seeking, they are hungry for more awareness, and they are ready to continue upwards into the light. For those that are immature, we cannot bypass their growth. It wouldn't even be possible. It would be like taking a 3-month-old fetus into the world. It's too immature. Wouldn't make it. So we must allow those souls to continue to be experiencing their soul needs in other three-dimensional worlds. They would not survive in 5D. They wouldn't be allowed in many ways. Just like a 3-month-old fetus could not survive if it was born too ahead of time.
Tell me more about what is necessary to survive in that fifth dimensional place. What must one have?
A kindness of the heart, kindness, compassion, consideration to the other, heart-based love frequency, community, thinking of the others. This is your password. This is the check-in into 5D. We recognize your heart signature, kindness, passion, and the desire to help others. This is your passageway, your ticket into the illuminated garden.
And tell me more about how we will enter that illuminated garden. How will that unfold for those of us who have that ticket of kindness in our hearts?
By your deeds, by what you are doing at this moment. You all have choice and you all have the possibility to cross. This is why it is so important that you be assisted to begin to remember and align and engage with your mission. Mission-based activities or businesses or decisions to serve or help others. Because when you do, you step out of service to self, 3D reality. With your deeds, you will be recognized as qualifying for stepping into 5D or not. If you are servicing the planet in any way, shape, or form to help her recover, or if you are helping animals or plant life or nature, it is through your deeds that you will be recognized as ready to step forward into 5D. If you are helping others, other humans, you will be recognized as service to 5D. It is through your deeds that you gain passageway.
And how will we know when we've made it through that portal? What will we see around us so we know?
It becomes more and more obvious that you are being assisted, that things become easier for you. Life is no longer a struggle. You begin to see synchronicities, collaboration, meeting people on similar wavelengths, and you begin to create an alliance or collaboration with others so that you can surface more people or do your deeds in a collaborative way so that they can be of greater impact to the world. Once you begin to step into 5D, you will be assisted by the universe to grow in a way that you have never experienced before. It will no longer just be through your effort, but through the synergy of universal forces assisting you to be all that you can be in much less time. And imagine many people working in collaboration. There is no limit to what you can accomplish. It will become more obvious to you when these synchronicities or the easy way begins to be shown to you. You will not recognize this reality as the one you were living in, where things become easy and abundance comes or flows naturally into your reality. And you meet kind people that are not self-serviced. They have a genuine desire to service others. It will become obvious because the nature of your reality and circumstances begins to change and becomes very much unlike the old way of life. That is how you will begin to recognize that you are stepping into 5D.
And at what point will we notice those people in our lives that are very aligned to that third dimensional path? At what point will we notice those people to begin to fade out of our lives or move away?
It is not that they fade away, it is that you move forward and you begin to have more and more to do with people that are in 5D. And so you pay less attention. Those beings in 3D become less important, and you move towards things that really interest you, and those others are left in the distance behind you. Less time with them, less encounters or relevance in your life. The splitting of the worlds is because or occurs due to your increased interest to be amongst similar frequency beings. So light attracts light, and dark attracts dark. Polarization. They just fade out. The lockdowns are playing a role in creating this separation. You are with less people. Very complex. So many moving parts and variables. Difficult for the human mind to understand.
And tell me more about as these worlds split, as light is attracted to light and dark is attracted to dark. Tell me more about how that affects this joint world that we are in until the split occurs. What will we notice?
An unblending is occurring. The light becomes brighter and the darkness becomes darker. There is a reversal of electromagnetical energies. Let me explain. In the last session you had with Julie, her right arm is beginning to hurt again as she explains the role of the darkness. It's nothing more than that. Cellular memory. In the beginning, there was only darkness, and the darkness played a role. Its job was to anchor light in the darkness. And so it would trap light souls, souls of pure light, captured them, and in this way started anchoring light in a world, a new world that was just darkness. And as that first soul was trapped, another wandering light soul with service to others wanted to come in and rescue and free that soul. But as it came into this dark world and was forgetting who it was and what it came here to do, it also became trapped. And so now there was two souls of light. And then the third came in, and the fourth, and the fifth, and so on. And light was being anchored into this world. That occurred due to a certain electromagnetical force field and the way that it was operating and swirling, allowing light to be densified in negative spin counterclockwise. Now, in order to reverse and in order to free the trapped souls, the spin goes in the opposite direction, clockwise direction, and begins to undo, to release, to free the trapped souls through a shift in the electromagnetic force field of the planet. When you are baking a cake and you have a batter, let's say it's chocolate batter, it's a dark color, and then you're going to put in the meringue, and with a whisk you begin to blend the meringue into the chocolate batter, and you begin to see swirls forming. And as you mix the white meringue into the dark batter, the meringue begins to be trapped in the dark batter.
Yes.
That is how light comes into darkness or evolution of the universe
Yes.
and of these worlds. Imagine that mix of light and dark in reverse motion now. Time lapse in reverse motion. You do it backwards. The light begins to be polarized, going back into its pureness. And the dark batter becomes darker, and the white meringue becomes whiter as they are separated. After the separation is complete, all the white together forms 5D, and the dark batter with the white being removed falls away into a lower dimension. But the white, in this case the meringue, stays where it is. So in this world, on Earth, the darkness is going to fall away. Purification, separation. We are not going anywhere. The light beings are not going anywhere. We are just going to be relieved of the darkness, which is going to fall away, as if there was gravity pull on them. The invisible planet will do that.
Tell me more about how they will be pulled away. You mentioned there the invisible planet. This planet that you refer to, would this be what we know as here as Nibiru?
Yes, that's how they are pulled away. We remain, but they are pulled away, much like the fleas from the dog.
Yes.
The dog stays, but the fleas are removed. Gravitational pull, a frequency of darkness is pulled and then removed.
And tell me more about that process. Tell me more about how this will unfold.
Conjunction of moving parts and convergence of timelines, all in precision of timing and spatial orientation.
Tell me more about that.
Four-dimensional space, like a Rubik's Cube, but the most complex of Rubik's Cubes, moving parts in all directions, but with a precision and a plan to make everything come into place. Visualize the most complex Rubik's Cube, all mixed up, all the colors everywhere, but in such perfect coordination of movements, time and space, that the final results are all the faces aligned with one pure color or frequency, and each one in its place. Moving parts, all coordinated in perfect synchronicity, so that the final result is everything according to its frequency, in this case the colors of the Rubik's Cube, all coming together, separating according to frequency, and moving on in a pure state of form.
Beautiful. And this invisible planet, as it comes nearer to our world, what are we likely to see?
The ones that are watching space will perhaps perceive anomalies, but otherwise on Earth, ones that are in the light will not be aware. The frequency is too different. However, dark ones will experience catastrophes. Julie's right arm is now beginning to hurt once again.
Can I ask for Archangel Michael and Kuan Yin to just place some healing energy into that arm as we proceed and to take that discomfort away? I'd like to ask for Raphael as well to come in and assist and provide some healing to that arm as we consider these lower frequencies. Tell me more about these catastrophes that the dark ones will experience.
These dark ones are clinging to the light ones because without the light, they cannot survive. And as they are stripped from the light, their world will collapse. Their world will collapse with natural disasters and implode, disintegrate, and be no more. Massive deaths. The light ones will be oblivious to that. For them, life continues just like before, but so much better. You cannot experience day and night at the same time. It's either one or the other. The dark ones or the unawakened ones as well. They need to be removed and will journey to other existences. A sort of wormhole will open, black hole, and suck them. Of course, they will leave their bodies behind. Their soul will travel through a wormhole to experience more 3D evolution. The light ones will not witness this. Parallel realities occurring simultaneously.
What do the light ones need to know? Those ones that are on the path of the light.
They are being reborn. The passageway may be difficult for many, but it is the only way out of 3D. It could be hard on the body, could be hard on the mind, but you must remember that you are escaping a downfall, so it is well worth the effort. Yes, you may also be attacked by the dark ones on your way out, where they are desperate. They are desperately trying to cling on to the light, for it is their only savior.
What can we do to protect ourselves from this darkness that's so desperate?
First of all, be aware that it exists. And it feeds off our inner fears. If you hold on to fears, you will be an easy target. In order to protect yourselves, you must do the work to release your fears. But that way they have no way in.
Is there anything else that we need to know today about this ascension, this splitting of the dark and the light, the unraveling, the great unraveling of that mixture, and the light coming together and the darkness coming together and falling away? Is there anything else that we need to know before I bring Julie's higher self through and ask some personal questions for her?
in the next 3 months, the big battle will continue, but not much more than that. And then the light will be firmly anchored. And then it's only a matter of time for the grip of darkness to be released and for all the dark to just fall away. November, the great portal of November. Remember November, victory month for the light. The new
Thank you.
earth, the new earth, November, victory month, the grand portal.
Thank you. Thank you for all of your help, advice, and wisdom today and information. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for conversing with us today and giving this information to us in 3D. And now I would like to ask for you to recede back to the time, space, reality, dimension, location where you belong with much love. And into that space, I want to bring Julie's own consciousness back and ask to connect to Julie's higher self, please. May I speak with Julie's higher self?
Yes,
Tell me more about why you allowed her to experience that what we just experienced today regarding the ascension.
it is good for her to be in a greater understanding that evil or darkness plays a role in evolution. She even has had some experiences expressing the viewpoint of darkness in your last sessions. And her right arm, as it is feeling again right now, can even feel physical pain in connection to the darkness.
And can you just confirm for me today that that pain that she feels is just cellular memory? There isn't anything else that we need to remove or deal with in that area? Or is there anything that we need to see about that right arm that will help her to understand why it hurts every time the darkness is mentioned?
There is a connection there still. It appears like a fish hook, as if it's a thick thread connecting or wanting to hold on to her.
Yes. Tell me more about where this hook leads to. Where does it go?
To Canada, to her province, Quebec. where she spent her early years. They tagged her there. May a minute. Unclear of what or why or how. Something happened to her in Canada with this that is in her arm, requesting assistance.
Can I ask for Archangel Michael and Kuan Yin to take a look at the arm, please, in addition to Julie's higher self? And Michael and Kuan, can I ask for you to establish where that fish hook is? And Julie, I'd like for you to also become aware of that arm and to intuitively know whereabouts in the arm that energy is, when that pain, when you feel that pain, tell me whereabouts in the arm that is.
It is always in the middle arm between the shoulder and the elbow.
Yes. So I want you to focus on that place where you feel the pain the most intensely when that pain shows up. And I want you to give that pain in that area a colour. What colour comes to mind when you think of that pain?
Like incandescent, bright light of molten metal, color of molten iron,
And if that,
scorching pain.
yes, and if that molten metal pain, that scorching pain, if it could speak, if it could tell you something, what would it say?
It's not time.
So let's allow that energy to move to the throat. And we will remind that energy that Archangel Michael is here and Kuan Yin, for that energy to move to the throat and for it to tell us more about what it's not time for.
It's not time to release her.
Tell me more about that. Why is it not time to release her?
Because we have things to do.
Tell me more about that. What are the things that you want to do?
There are more souls trapped, isolated, not in groups. The important ones are trapped in isolated areas in the earth. There is work to do.
Tell me more about why this hook, this energy, why this is in Julie's arm. What's the purpose?
She must still work accessing the darkness to save those trapped souls, for they know the way. The darkness knows where these souls are kept. Part of her mission is to go to them, to release them, and not leave them behind.
Yes.
If she disconnects from the dark, she cannot find them.
And so this hook must remain in her arm until her mission is complete.
Until the November portal.
I see. And around that time, when the mission is complete, may we then unhook this hook in her arm.
In October.
Okay. I have made the note that in October will be the time to take out this hook, and we understand its purpose. And may I also confirm that Julie did agree, in fact, to carry this hook for the purpose of her mission?
Yes, in alliance with Sophia.
Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. So we will leave that hook there, and we understand now that it allows us to link in to the darkness, and so that when she does her work in rescuing these souls, that is how she can attach to that energy and how she can channel that energy so easily. Is there anything that we need to do on that today, on that mission?
Yes.
Tell me more.
36 very important light souls are being held captive throughout the ages. I must connect with them. Because they are aware of my presence and they can send me strength, power, and abilities to be able to not only fight the darkness, but to be with me fighting the darkness from within. They are in this huge cave, isolated cells very far one from the other. This cave is as large as a continent itself.
Tell me more about how these souls were trapped down there.
Comparable to a cell, each one in a smaller cave with a barrier, cannot leave. I am now in the portal of Russia, Siberia, Russia, where light is coming in to this cave. through this portal. There are guardians here, like zombies. We must find a way to free these souls. These souls, hundreds or thousands of years, trapped in hundreds of thousands of years.
Yes.
From the time of the saber-toothed tiger.
Tell me more about how you feel that you can release these souls, what it is that you need to do.
They have been captured for so long, and their energies have been used for so long that they are so weak that they can't get out themselves. For the next 3 to 4 months, Earth time, they must be secretly given light energy, a kind of nutrition to strengthen, to prepare them to come out in 4 months' time, not before. The war is still raging strong during the first 3 months. In the 4th month, after having received feeding of light, they will be strong enough, as we are now connected, to be able to break through the door of their cage. At first, the blue one, will be released, and it will help the others. And in turn, as more are released, they will work together to release each and every one, and they will come up with a plan. That is all we have to do. Connect them now to a source of light from which they will regain their strength.
Yes. And so can we assist Julie with that work today? Can I ask all of the archangels to assist in bringing down that light? Julie already has that connection to the light, but in enhancing it so it is as strong as we can physically get, all of us connected together, and for Julie to channel that intense light that's from all of the archangels down into that place, and for her to connect each and every one of those souls up to that light source. And so as Julie begins her work, can I ask for Michael and Gabriel and Raphael and Uriel and Azrael, all of the archangels that are on hand to help to enhance that stream of light and to help Julie in this work to connect these souls up to that stream of light that is going to strengthen them over the next 3 to 4 months.
Yes, these are really the semi-gods that were trapped.
Tell me more about that.
At one point, the beings that came to the planet, the tall ones, that came to assist in the evolution and ascension of humanity, they were taken over by the dark forces that arrived in ships and held captive underground so that they would not assist in empowering humanity, because the dark ones wanted to enslave humans and use them for their purpose. This was the time of the ancient civilization. Ancient civilizations, Egypt,
Yes,
there was a massacre of these tall beings, and many of them were kept captive to use their energy or their connection to source. That's why they were not killed. These beings are very powerful. And as we will assist in helping them, they will also help us. It's getting harder and harder for the dark to manage and stay in control of the planet. These 36 are now receiving greater and direct connection to source once again.
good. Is there anything else that we can do to help them today so that they can regain strength over the next few months? Anything else that we can do to help?
This is all that needs to be done for now.
Thank you. May I proceed to ask some more questions for Julie?
Yes.
She wants to remember who she really is. Like, where is her home planet? And to connect with how she feels when she's on that home planet. Can you tell her more today?
She needs to go to the garden again to access it.
So let's return back to that garden and sit back in that familiar bench and feel that connectedness of her soul branch, her thread, her personal soul thread that stretches throughout the universe.
Yes.
And from that place in the garden, in that connected place, I want her with her heart to begin to reach out for that resonance of home. And as I count backwards from 3 to 1, we're going to travel through time and space, back and back and back to that home planet where Julie was before she made the decision to come here to Earth. As I count backwards from 3 to 1, she will be there. 3, traveling there now. 2, almost there. And 1, be there now.
I've just been born.
Yes,
There is so much love from my mother. I've never felt this before.
and
My
see,
mother is someone very important, and she has been waiting for me. I'm in her arms. I feel so much love.
yes. And as you connect with your mother, tell me more about what your mother looks like as you look at her.
They're very large beings, 20 feet tall.
Tell me more about them.
We're kind of royalty. We're very important in guiding our people.
Tell me more about your people.
We live in crystal cities,
Yes,
structures. I've seen this place before in my dreams.
tell me more about it as you connect in a deeper way.
It's a breathing planet, a conscious planet. We're not very many. The planet is rather small in comparison to others. It is a station from this planet which rotates clockwise. It's a stopping station or distribution stopping station
Tell me
to be
more
on
about that.
mission. We're always on missions.
Tell me about those missions.
Like we're governing body to be on missions on other planets to reestablish balance on other planets. We have the power or the right or the ordinance to go in and do what needs to be done to reestablish equilibrium in other systems. When I was born, my mother implanted this in my mind, my function, my role. And I cannot stop until systems are balanced.
Yes. Tell me more about that. Why is it that you came to Earth?
There was too much suffering. I didn't want to come,
Yes.
I didn't want to suffer. But my mother blessed me when I was born. She was sad to know how much I would have to suffer at one point in doing what I was born to do. And I didn't want to leave that beautiful place. Bliss and balance and well-being. I miss her, and I miss my world.
Allow yourself to connect there today, to feel that vibration, and allow it to rejuvenate you and to uplift your soul. Tell me more about the abilities that you have in that place, and if there's anything that we can bring from that vibration and access here in this now.
This is a small planet where there's portals for people, for consciousness, for beings to come and train. It's a training planet where we are trained for governance in the universe. Many great masters are here. It's a training ground.
And what abilities do you have access to in that place that you are able to bring online as Julie here in this now?
I need to defend myself. I need weapons. The ability to keep myself safe and
Yes.
sovereign. One of those abilities is being placed in my right arm and hand, like a harpoon weapon that is shot. It's energy, of course. And the other is a form of netting that I can place over myself to be invisible. And the third is a little book of wisdom that's placed in my back left pocket. An inner knowing of how to get through all of the difficulties this time of the war for ascension. I must be more prepared.
Tell me more about how the ascension of Earth is seen from the perspective of your home planet.
It's a battleground. Where we need to go in and rescue that civilization that has been unjustly taken over and enslaved. There are risks for us. That's why we must be more prepared. Darkness has taken over 3/4. It's no longer in balance, 50-50. Therefore, it cannot be allowed. And many of us are going there on this mission to break the heavy crust around the earth that has disconnected her from the light and enslaved so many souls. We need heavier equipment, more energy, more power. 9 times more power now.
Tell me
I'm
more
going
about
to
that.
go. I'm going to go to the high tower on my right. Great wizard on our planet who has something for me. In your world, it would be like the Grand Merlin, the Grand Wizard. He is placing a crown of ice on my head. It's not ice, it looks like ice, semi-translucent, white crown on my head, and placing a belt, a thick belt of strength on my waist to feel more secure and stronger. And I'm being given a staff, much like Poseidon, to move the energies of the planet, the waters, the oceans. There is so much energy and potential in the waters of Earth. I am given, I am being given the power of Atlantis to open pathways where there are no pathways. So much more power over the physical Earth. The power of Atlantis is now in my hands. The power of the pyramids is now in my mind. And I am given a map to discover the secret treasures on Earth. Our own hidden powers. As humans. To unlock them in others. For as humans become more powerful, we will be able to ascend more quickly and more easily. I am now a greater catalyst for transformation and unleashing humans from their perception of limited beings. Free souls. The Grand Wizard is giving me the power to free the souls within the humans to be all that they can be.
And in this place where we're connecting with this wizard and this wonderful frequency of home, would it be possible to open her sacred heart chakra to connect to that feeling of bliss and 5D frequency, and for her to stay connected?
We will take her to the first floor of this tower, this building, which is like a kitchen, and at the same time a great table, very long rectangular table is set. And there is dough and bread is being made. And the image of the table of the Last Supper when Jesus is there. I see him and he calls to me to come closer. And he places his left hand on my heart chakra and asks me to take the host in my mouth, the holy bread, and places a band around my forehead, tying it at the back, and begins to say or invoke something as he holds my sacred heart chakra with one hand from the front and the other hand from the back. For greater control.
As this work is being done, may I proceed and ask more questions for Julie?
One moment, the sacred heart chakra will be activated, but first, Jesus needs to release me of my fears. That I will not be supported, and my lower back begins to hurt, as well as the right arm. Do not fear. Connecting. Ready.
She wanted to know what's the best advice for her on how to handle her personal ascension process.
You cannot stop it. And at times I could feel like trying to hold a very hot potato, causing physical disharmony in the body. But just like a hot potato, it will cool down by itself. In November, by November, it won't disturb her anymore.
Why does she feel such a sadness on Earth at the moment?
She has always felt this sadness. It's because she misses her mother and her way of life on her home planet. She doesn't feel at home. Something is missing. She knows she's not from Earth. Homesickness. Yes, it is homesickness.
Yes. Why does she feel such a sense of apathy at the moment? She does not feel like she wants to do anything.
Because timelines are twisting and shifting. Things are no longer linear. They become a spiral upwards. So the linear sequence of doing is no longer applicable. So she feels disengaged, like there's nothing to move forward towards. This is perceived by beings at this time because they are locking into a parallel reality of 5D, where things are not accomplished through doing, but from asking, intending, requesting from the mind, from a place of being in the heart and solar plexus, where the desire that originates in the mind is granted from the heart.